A small island in the Black Sea has become a key battleground in the Russia-Ukraine war. Russia seized it at the start of its invasion. Snake Island is just over half a kilometre long and 200 kilometres south of the Ukrainian port of Odesa. It's seen as vital to Moscow in its bid to control the western Black Sea. No wonder, then, Ukraine wants it back and continues to launch attacks on Russian military equipment there, including ships.
It may look like just a tiny lump of rock in the middle of the Black Sea, but Snake Island has enormous strategic importance for both Russia and Ukraine. So significant that it's become a key battleground in this war. Ukraine has even produced a stamp in its honour. On it, an illustration of a Ukrainian border guard standing on the island and making a rude gesture. It was inspired by Roman Rybov, who received a medal for refusing to surrender the isle to the crew of a Russian warship at the start of the war. His curse words to the Russians have now become a popular Ukrainian slogan. Russia, though, did take Snake Island, an outpost that used to be under Soviet control. If the Kremlin could occupy it permanently, it would control even more of the Black Sea. That would help it continue to block the export of Ukrainian goods, such as grain, from key port cities like Odesa. Ukraine has been doing all it can to take Snake Island back, successfully targeting Russian military equipment on the island and beyond. The Moskva, seen here in its prime, was Russia's Black Sea flagship, but it was destroyed by Ukrainian forces in April. Moscow is fighting back. British intelligence believes Russia is trying to reinforce its garrison on Snake Island, including setting up long-range air defence systems. Military experts warn that could be a threat not only to Ukraine, but also to its neighbours and NATO. And so the battle for this strategic outpost goes on, with neither side prepared to back down.
We can take a closer look with Dmitry Alperovich, who's a security expert at the Silverado Policy Accelerator. That's a geopolitical think tank in Washington, D.C. Welcome to DW. And what's your assessment then? How important is it to control this tiny island?
Well, symbolically, of course, it's very important given the episode that was just described early in the war and the valiant resistance from the Ukrainians in defending it. But here's the issue that the Russians face now. This island is essentially indefensible now, given that the warships that would provide the air defense capabilities for the island, like Moskva, can be sunk by the Ukrainians with their Neptunes, as they capably demonstrated last month. So they have a real issue now facing targeting from TB2 drones from Turkey, of personnel on that island, equipment on that island. Just a few weeks ago, the Ukrainians destroyed an air defense system on it. So now it's really questionable why they want to keep it so badly, given that they're going to continue suffering severe casualties on it.
OK, so Russia having problems defending it, but Russia says Ukraine's taken heavy losses as it tries to recapture it. And what do you think? Is Ukraine right to keep focusing on this little outpost?
Again, symbolically, it's very important, but for the Ukrainians also, this is not a strategic island and one that they can probably defend even if they reoccupy it, because the Russians can, of course, conduct airstrikes against it and take out any personnel and air defense systems that are on this island. And here's the problem. It really won't stop the blockade. The blockade is largely being enforced with submarines, with surface ships, with airstrikes and artillery and missiles in Crimea. Owning Snake Island is really not going to change the picture much for the Ukrainians.
Right. So you seem to be saying that albeit it's symbolically important, it really doesn't make that much difference.
That's right, and primarily because of its size. It's less than 0.2 kilometers in size. and it's just too small to put significant forces on it, to put radar and significant air defenses that can be taken out with UAVs like the Ukrainians have done in the past.
Because I've looked at reports and seen reports of people thinking, well, OK, but it does have a significant potential to wreak havoc on other European countries.
It's pretty far. And look, the Russians don't need Snake Island to wreak havoc on the European countries if they want to do so. They control pretty much the Black Sea with the Black Sea Fleet. Even with the loss of the Moskva, they still have a number of frigates that are highly capable of long-range missiles on those frigates. They have submarines. They have, of course, long-distance aviation that's located in Crimea. So Snake Island really doesn't change the picture much for them.
That's very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us, Dmitry Alperovich, security expert at the Silverado Policy Accelerator.
Thank you.